A very good morning to everyone. So, I want to start today by asking you something, and I want you to sit with the question for a moment before you answer it, even silently to yourself. What does the word discipline make you feel? Right? Just go on, notice the first thing that comes up. For most of us, if you're honest, the word doesn't exactly spark joy. It brings up something more like effort, restriction, sacrifice. That stern school teacher who made you write lines. I don't know how strict Usha ma'am was when she was a school teacher, but yes, the diet that said no to everything you loved, the morning alarm that nobody asked for, discipline. We have been taught is the opposite of freedom. Discipline is what you endure so that one day, eventually, maybe you get to enjoy. But what if I told you that this is one of the most quietly damaging misunderstandings we carry through our lives? Yes. What if, what if discipline, yes, real discipline, the kind that is chosen rather than imposed, is not the enemy of freedom? What if it is, in fact, the only path to it? Think about it. So, today I want to flip something in your mind. Today's session is called Discipline as Freedom. Yes. So, let me begin with this opening thought today that discipline creates the freedom that laziness steals. So, let me say that again. Discipline creates the freedom that laziness steals. Not punishment, not suffering, not restriction, freedom. So I'll begin with this metaphor, or let's say a story, because I want you to think about a river in full flow. The Ganga, the Narmada, any river you have stood beside and felt that quiet sense of awe. Yes, that power, that movement, that sense of the water going somewhere purposefully, relentlessly. And now ask yourself, what gives a river its power? Its banks. The banks don't imprison the river, they direct it, they focus its energy. Without banks, that same water spreads out, becomes shallow, slow, marshy, a swamp that goes nowhere and nourishes nothing. The banks look like restriction from the outside, but the river is the most free thing in the world. It crosses states, carves valleys, sustains millions, and reaches the ocean. All because it stayed within its course. So discipline is the bank and you are the river. And the question is, are you flowing powerfully towards something? Or are you spreading thin in every direction, exhausted and going nowhere? Yes. Today is 7th June. I just want you to imagine, as today is 7th June 2026, exactly 1 year back, 7th June 2025, if you just imagine your journey, just figure out the progress that your journey. Are you still standing at the same place where you were 1 year back, or you have moved? This is a question that you have to answer to your own self. So let me walk you through four things. Yes, four. And I'll be honest and specific because I think that's more useful than being poetic. One, discipline reduces chaos. So let me tell you about Rekha. She works in an accounts department, intelligent, capable, respected at work, but her personal finances, a source of quiet, constant anxiety. Money comes in, money goes out. She's not sure exactly where, and there's always something, an unexpected expense, a bill that somehow grew, a credit card statement she would rather not open. Not because she earns too little, but because there is no discipline in how money is managed. And now imagine this. Rekha sets aside every Saturday morning just 20 minutes to review the week's spending. And she has three simple categories: fixed expenses, daily needs, and discretionary. She makes no dramatic changes, she just sees clearly. And within 3 months, Rekha has found two subscriptions she forgot she was paying for. She's noticed a spending pattern that surprised her, and for the first time in years, she feels not rich, but in control. Discipline didn't take away her freedom with money, it gave her back the freedom she had lost to actually know where she stood. Yes, we must know where we are standing today. And that's why I've given you a simple exercise to look back and observe your journey in the past 1 year. And number two, structure creates more time, more money, and more peace. So Lataji is a homemaker, a wonderful one. Her home runs, meals happen, guests are welcomed, festivals are celebrated, the whole operation functions. But she will tell you herself, she's always tired. And why? Because without a gentle structure to a day, everything feels equally urgent all the time. She's always responding, never leading. There's no hour that belongs to her, no time that is clearly rest and clearly work. It all blurs into one long gray exhaustion. And now imagine Lataji gives herself a simple morning structure. Certain tasks happen in a certain window, and after that window, she's done for the morning. She sits down, she has a chai, she reads or calls a friend, or simply rests without guilt. That structure, that small act of discipline, doesn't rob her of time. Let me give you one more thought. How many of you have ever rested during the day? Actually rested, meaning you're not thinking about anything else. Your mind is not wandering. Just simple rest, as if doing nothing, not only physically, but mentally too. Has anyone done it? Or does anybody do it? Yeah, that's a challenge, simple challenge of our lives. It creates time, it carves out space that didn't seem to exist before. Because disciplined people are not people who do more, they are people who waste less. And number three, temporary discomfort creates long term freedom. You know, Let me tell you about Vijay Bhai. Spent 35 years building his career, working hard, providing for his family, all of which is genuinely admirable. And now, in his late 50s, his doctor has told him gently but clearly that his blood sugar is climbing, that he needs to move his body, that the lifestyle needs to shift. Vijay Bhai knows this. He agrees in principle. But every evening, the sofa calls, the television calls, the second roti calls, and the discomfort of changing a 35-year routine feels large, feels like loss. And here's what I want to say to Vijay Bhai and to all of us who recognize this. The discomfort of discipline is temporary. The discomfort of not choosing discipline, the health complications, the dependence, the loss of vitality, that discomfort is permanent. We always get to choose our discomfort. We just rarely frame it that way. Yeah. The small daily discomfort of a 30-minute walk now, or the much larger, much longer discomfort later. Discipline today is a gift to your future self and the future self. Older, perhaps sitting in this very kind of session, will be deeply grateful. Number four, self control builds self respect. Now, this is one that perhaps nobody talks about enough. And I think it matters the most. Every time you say you will do something and you do it, something happens inside. Quietly, without fanfare, your trust in yourself grows. Yes, let me say this thing again. Very important. Every time you will say that you will do something and you actually do it, that creates quite ripples in you. Your trust in yourself grows. And every time you say you will do something and you don't, something also happens again. A small drop of self doubt, a subtle message to your own subconscious that I can't really rely on myself. Let me tell you, if you cannot rely on your own self, why will others trust you? Why should others be relying on you? Over years, that accumulates. The undisciplined life doesn't just create chaos around you, it creates a kind of inner chaos, a quiet uncertainty about your own word, your own capability, your own worth. Discipline reverses that. One kept promise at a time, not grand gestures, small ones. I said I would wake up at this time, and I did. I said I would not check my phone during dinner, and I didn't. I said I would write for 10 minutes today, my graph of practice, and I wrote. And that is where self respect lives, in the small, private victories that nobody witnesses but you. And let's do today's reflection because it's your turn. And I have one question for you. And I want to really sit with it today, tonight, and whatever quiet moment you can find. And the question is this. If you want, you can please note it down, write it down, because this is, you might like to answer after the session. What freedom would discipline create in my life? What freedom would discipline create in my life? Not what would discipline take away? What would it give you? Would it give you financial ease if you looked honestly at your spending once a week? Would it give you better health if you moved your body for 20 minutes a day? Or would it give you more peace if you had a clear, gentle structure to your day? Would it give you self respect? You finally kept that one promise to yourself you've been breaking for months. Sit with that question. Let your honest answer come. And then, today, before this day ends, take one disciplined action. One, the first step of the river flowing in its direction. It doesn't need to be big, but it needs to be real. So I want to leave you with something that I think is quietly beautiful. We spend a great deal of our life seeking freedom. Freedom from stress, from worry, from exhaustion, from feeling behind, from the sense that life is happening to us rather than for us. And we look for that freedom in rest, in escape, in the absence of effort. But the people who are truly free, and you know people like this, you've met them, they're not the ones who avoided discipline. They're the ones who embraced it early enough that it became invisible. It became just how they live. They're free because their health isn't a crisis. They're free because their finances aren't a mystery. They're free because their days have a shape. And within that shape, there's a genuine rest, genuine presence, genuine joy. The river doesn't strain against its banks, it flows powerfully, beautifully, purposefully because of them. So, your call to action for today simple, honest, and I hope lasting. Ask yourself today, what freedom would discipline create in my life? Write it down, one line, one answer, and then take one discipline action towards it today. Not a transformation, not a resolution, just one honest step of a river that is decided where it's going. Because you're not made to spread thin and stagnate. You're made to flow. So, with that thought, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you.